That's actually the main sandy beach. And here you have a campsite, and in front of that one is also sandy beaches. In most part, at least the coastal part and the southern part of Croatia, and also in the neighboring countries down here, the main mode of transportation is simply buses, because we just had an inspector on board checking if anybody was driving without having a ticket. So, hi everyone, we are standing down on the port in Split, which is basically just in front of me, and behind me I have over here the train station, and exactly behind me the bus station. And there's a reason for this, because in today's video I'm gonna take you on a bus ride from Split to Dubrovnik. We're gonna drive along the coastal road, which is, according to my opinion, the most beautiful bus trip in Croatia. So I hope the footage is gonna illustrate that. We are at least gonna try to catch the best images along the way. So let's go to the bus station, grab a ticket, and see if we can find our bus. Of course, we are now out of the season, so it's not too busy. If we were here in the middle of the season, it would be super crowded. Here you would have a lot of taxis standing and a lot of people running around, you know. Maybe something which is good to know, you can see up here at the sign, it says airport shuttle. So usually the airport shuttle is always the first one parked down here. If you need to go to Split Airport, this is basically the place you want to be. Anyway, let's go and see if we can get a ticket. Oh, is that yours? Hi. I need 2 tickets for the 8 o'clock to Dubrovnik with Prom and Makaska.
49.40.
There you go.
Here.
Thank you.
So park is already on platform number 2.
Excellent.
Thank you, bye.
Thank you very much. So, ticket secured. Let's find our bus at platform number 2. Maybe just for you to know, if you are at the bus station, you have a toilet here, but it's a paid toilet and it only takes coins, so make sure to have some coins with you. And you can see there's 5-6 platforms down here, so locating your bus shouldn't be a problem, but sometimes you have 2-3 buses from the same bus company parked next to each other, so it's a good thing just to check with the driver that you don't catch a bus which goes in the opposite direction. So let's see if we can get the suitcase. Jedan I još. Da. Malo. Dubrovnik, da. Hvala. Let's go on the bus. Precise, and we're leaving the bus station. So this used to be a coffee bar, so probably they are gonna redo this. Anyway, I think the bus station could get an upgrade. And here was what I mentioned before. Here we are passing by the train station.
And the ferry port is on the other side.
Yeah, and ferry port. And here, basically, when you walk down this way here where we are driving now, you're basically walking towards the center, and it's really close. You don't need to take a taxi, Uber, or anything else to get to the city center. You should basically walk up there. So depending on the ferry, depending on the bus company, not ferry company, depending on the bus company, that there's usually 2 drivers or 1 driver and 1 who takes care of checking the tickets, helping the passengers load a suitcase along the road if some passengers come on board or needs to get out before we reach Dubrovnik. And they would basically come around and check your tickets as soon as the bus has left the city. So let's see if he's gonna accept ours. He should. You of course can buy tickets online. I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. So, yeah. All worked, no problem at all. Now we are already out of Split. We are in Podstrana, which is a coastal town south of Split. I think it stretches 6 kilometers along the coast. So basically you have a lot of houses, usually only 1 house. Between the road here there's 1 house and then you have the sea. When we get a little bit further you will see much better what I'm talking about. Now we are getting to the main part of Podstrana where you have houses lined up, and then basically just in front of the houses you have the sea. So Podstrana definitely, if you're up for a holiday, which is basically mainly beach, Podstrana is a good place to go because everything is so near the water here. And if you want to go to Split, it's pretty easy, 15 minutes, and then you're in Split. And of course, literally everything, more or less all buildings here are apartment buildings. Now we are almost in Omiš, which is 20-something kilometers south of Split. Anyway, what I just wanted to tell you a little bit about the trip. This trip, which we take along the coastal road, is the way buses used to drive between Split and Dubrovnik, but now we have a highway, so all buses except this one departure we took today are basically going along the highway. But I think I simply wanted to show you how beautiful it is down here. It will get more and more beautiful the further we get down, and it's really something to see. Anyway, this trip along the coast is around 5 hours. If you take buses which goes along the highway, they are usually 1 hour less or 1 hour 15 minutes less. Of course, when you get to the middle of the summer season, there's a lot of traffic, or there's at least some more traffic on this coastal road. So the scheduled time of 5 hours might be 5.5, 6 hours. So you should not take this bus because you want to be fast in Dubrovnik. You should take this bus because you want to, enjoy the views down here. As you see from the footage, it's really amazing. And of course, when you get on the bus or when you buy the ticket from Brom and Makarska, make sure to get a seat on the right side of the bus like we're sitting now, because that's basically where you have the best views when you're going towards the south. And now we are really getting close to Omiš. What's interesting about this area out here with Omiš is that they have sandy beaches. And if you basically haven't been to Croatia before, you will know that we don't have that many sandy beaches, but one of them is here in Omiš. So quite popular place for families with smaller kids. I've been here tons of times when my kids were small. They always wanted to go out here. And I think Omiš has around 20,000 people. Also, like all cities along the coast, it's holiday cities, touristic cities. some stuff you find here, which is quite interesting. You have a really nice campsite, which we're going to pass now. That's actually the main sandy beach, and here you have a campsite, and in front of that one is also sandy beaches. So I actually stayed there once. We went here on a family trip with our tent, and we stayed at Camp Gallup. It's called Camp Gallup. But now they built so many of these houses, small mobile homes, so it completely changed over the years, simply because people prefer that today, I guess. So now we are almost in the middle of the town. And another interesting part about Omiš, there's a river running out, which has this estuary here in Omiš. That's the river Cetina, and now we're going to cross a bridge, and you will see the river Cetina. There was also a sign here. So here's the river. You can see it has a pretty strong current, and you have small boats to the other side. We can't film that now, but or maybe we'll manage to see it. You see you have high cliffs here, and if you go up the river here, you have a lot of nice restaurants along the river, and you have a very popular summer thing going on out here. You have rafting. I think this is the most popular place for rafting in Croatia. Not only rafting, you have canyoning and other things which can be done along the river, which has waterfalls. Definitely something to try out. I think I've been on the rafting here 6-7 times. Taking family and friends around, so definitely a recommendation. So when you're traveling with a bus in Croatia, maybe some stuff good to know. You saw now I bought my tickets directly on the bus station, but of course you can also buy them online before. On this specific route between Split and Dubrovnik, we had 11 different departures today from 3 different bus companies. When you're driving on this route in the summer, there's 6 different bus companies operating on this route. So if you want to see the full overview of possible departures, then you should check the website of the bus station, or there's different other pages which also have all departures basically in one place. On the website I will make sure to give you a full overview of all the bus companies running, so you basically can pick whatever you want. What is also good to know is that there can be a big difference in the price during the summer. So I mean, I'm not talking it's 2-3 euro. You can actually have 15-20 euro difference in the ticket price depending on the departure you take. So it's really a good idea. I mean, especially if you're more people driving, check all the departures, check the prices, because you basically have for a cocktail or two, with the savings. So it really pays out to check all the different bus companies and see what prices they have. And in terms of amenities and how the buses are equipped, there is some differences. This one, for instance, has 220 volt outlets here. I think that's pretty standard on most of the buses. There's a Wi-Fi. You have, tables in front of you and these kind of things. So I think everything is pretty standard. You wouldn't find that much different depending on whichever bus you take. I think none of them, although we have, this is basically what is a toilet if you would go on a long distance trip with buses. This would probably be available, but I think none of the bus companies inside Croatia allows you to use the toilet when you are running on domestic routes. So the way they solve this, of course, you can't take a 5-hour trip like this one we are taking now without maybe having the option to use a toilet. So there will usually be 1 or 2 stops along the way for 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes at some place where you have a toilet available, and maybe probably also there will be a kiosk or some place where you can buy food, drinks, and these kind of things. And that's usually how buses work in Croatia, especially when you take the longer routes.
Just when I take this one. buy it online.
Yeah, so basically, of course, now these were printed tickets. If you buy it online, they will just scan it on the phone and you will have a QR code. So, I mean, everything is fairly advanced with these things. The only thing what I maybe forgot to mention, I don't know if you saw when I boarded the bus, I paid the driver €4 for the luggage. So all of this is different depending on the bus companies, but most of them would charge you when you add luggage to the hold. So it's a good idea to have a little bit of cash. You would also need the cash basically. I mean, you will need cash for if there's toilet stops. Many places they charge €1 for a toilet stop, and in most cases you can't pay with card. So always have 10-20 euro with you in cash, so you can deal with these things. So basically, when you drive here, you have relatively steep down to the sea. You have the cities. The houses built down on the slope here, and you have behind to the left of the street you have mountains going up. So the scenery is just amazing. I mean, can you see it here? Look, I mean, absolutely amazing. And then you have island Var coming down behind it. So basically all the way down the coastal line, you basically, although it's the Adriatic, the sea we have out here, you have basically islands all the way down to the Browning more or less. So you basically, there's no free view towards Italy from here. There's always an island blocking it. The view is just amazing. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. I think now we are at Pisac. Yes, I think this is Pisac. Also, really nice city. Actually here where the bus is stopping and picking up a lady, if you would continue straight down, not stay on the main road, you go down to the center of Pisac. Pretty steep going down there, but really nice small city. And I see some artist was at the bus shelter here. So now we are getting onto the Macassar Riviera, which is a very popular holiday area which has several cities. Of course, the main city being Macassar. We're going to get to Macassar later. But here you have a lot of really nice and very popular coastal cities along. One of them, Brela, we will get to very shortly, and I will tell you a little bit about that one. So now the driver let us up on the front seats, so we have a little bit better view on the area here.
These are probably the best seats you can have.
Definitely. I mean, if you're not driving in a double-decker and have the front seats on the top floor, I guess this is the nicest seats you can have. You really have a good view out in front of you. Probably also if you get driving sick, this is the best place to sit. So now we are getting very close to Brela. I think it's just up here around the corner, or basically, we are basically in Brela now. So the city stretches along the coast. I think 3 kilometers, but the way to get down to the city is basically here in front of us. And why did I want to mention Brela specifically? It's because, now we have a bus stop here, but because I think Brela has according to my opinion, has the most beautiful beach in all Croatia. It's called Punta Rata, and you would go down to the beach from the main road here, and the beach, I mean, it's super popular. So during the summer season, if you don't come early, you're gonna basically have to park your car on the hill going down, which means you have a lot of walking. So usually when we do a visit to Punta Rata, to the beach here in Brela, I think if we see here now, you can see where the road goes down. There's also a little bit image there of the beach. So here you would drive down. No, so basically when we go here for a full day, we always go here for a full day, get here very early, then you can actually park in a decent distance from the beach. We bring cooling boxes with sandwiches, drinks, and a lot of blankets and all this stuff, and then you can get a really good spot down here. And then we stay here a whole day. You have restaurants down there. You have, of course, places with ice. You have places you can sit for a beer, coffee bars. You have anything you need along the beach, and you can walk, to the center of town. There's a really nice promenade in the shade where you can walk really a long way. So super nice place. The water is crystal clear. Really something I can recommend. Yeah, it was Baška Voda, the next one, yeah. Also really nice city. I mean, they're all super small, so it's basically super small holiday cities. That's basically what it is. So now we turn off the main road, and I think we're going to go down to Makarska bus station. And I guess there would be a small break before the bus is going to continue. But now we are arriving at the bus station in Makarska, which is here to our left. We just need to get around in this roundabout here. So we just had a 10-minute stop on the bus station in Makarska, which was time enough to visit the toilet. And we also managed to find a bakery nearby where we could buy a little bit food and some drinks. So now we are basically ready to go out back on the main road and continue towards Dubrovnik. So we just managed to get out of Makarska, and already we are at the next small coastal town called Tučepi. Again, same principle as the cities we saw before. Really great small holiday towns, nice beaches, everything you need for a relaxing beach holiday. So check it out if you're planning to do that kind of holiday. Anyway, what I forgot to tell you earlier is that the trip we take today with the bus from Split to Dubrovnik, I said to you there's around up to 20 daily departures in the summer, but the 20 departures are only buses. There's actually an alternative. You can take a fast ferry from Split to Dubrovnik. Also during the summer season, they usually run from around April till October, and you have up to five or maybe even 6 departures in the main season. Those fast ferries is also quite interesting because they actually don't go directly to Dubrovnik like the bus. They have stops on the way, so you would actually see different islands if you would take the fast ferry. I would say the only drawback there is for the fast ferry is that it's a bit more expensive than the bus. I think the ticket prices are around 50 euro-ish for a one-way adult ticket. So is it worth it? I think it is, especially if you're doing both directions. I would definitely do one by ferry, and if you're not visiting the islands or you haven't planned to go to the islands, then I would definitely also take the ferry. If you're anyway going to the island, then why not take the bus and save the money on this? But if you don't have islands planned to see a little bit of Hvar, see a little bit of Korčula, Millet, then take the fast ferry. I would definitely recommend doing that. And and you can actually also, which is quite funny, you can actually also take the fast ferry from Makarska to Dubrovnik. There's only one departure, and that's only in the really peak season, but it's also an option. So remember, down in this area of Dalmatia, when you are traveling around along the coast, both check buses and ferries. I will of course put all information on the website so you can see which companies to check, where to find the timetables, prices, etc. Everything will be specified on the website, so it will be easy for you to plan your trip around in this area. So now we are in Podgorda, I think. Yes. Oh, small fisherman out picking up lunch or dinner. Yeah, I mean the coastal. Nobody should say that the coastal road is a straight line. It's really pretty curvy. So if you're gonna drive here by your own car, make sure pay attention, because the road is definitely not for speeding. So close the mountains are to the sea right here. So no wonder it's expensive and a tough job to build roads, or even I remember lots of people have asked me why there's less trains available here in Croatia. Well, when you see all the mountains and you think about that there's not that many people living here, of course, looking at the investment for building a railway and then looking at the potential number of passengers, it simply doesn't pay out. It's way too expensive. So basically they stick to the road, and which is why basically in most part, at least the coastal part and the southern part of Croatia, and also in the neighboring countries down here, the main mode of transportation is simply buses, because there's no tracks. You cannot go around by rail. Very simple. You can do it in the northern part of the northeastern part of Croatia is where the most rail is. Up there, it's definitely the most popular way of getting around. But here in the southern coastal part, there's no rail.
Basically, Split is the last stop.
Split is the last stop, and then basically there's rail tracks coming from Bosnia going into Ploče, but I'm not even sure if the trains are running there anymore. So the closest you can get in terms of rail tracks to Dubrovnik is Ploče, which is I think 80-90 kilometers north of Dubrovnik. So there's no real point trying to get there by rail, simply not possible. Now you can
sit on the right side.
Yeah, look now. Yeah, now you can see how nice the beach down there and everything. And next city coming up. Oh, now you can really see Grane from here. Now it looks great. Yeah, this is the peak of Var, so Sucedas is just behind. And that's where you have the ferry from Nevnik, where we're going to be soon, which goes over there. Yeah, you can actually see the ferry there. Really small one, but I don't know how many cars it will take, but definitely not many. So I think Sucedas is just on the other side. You need to go around the peak and then it's on the other side. So here you have of the mountains just in the backyard. Here you would like to stay on the road, not necessarily go off to the right here. It's gonna make you a bit wet. We're now in Podace. And this one, okay, here the road is quite near the sea level. It's not that elevated like you had it on the other side of Makarska. And many people don't think about it if you're going with the buses from those places. For instance, if you're taking the bus from Brela, Pisac, these towns and that part between Makarska and Omis, that there can be, quite a long way from the center of town down at the sea level till the road up here. So if you catch the bus, it's not going to pick you up in the center of town. You actually need to walk up to the main road. You see we have bus shelters like the one we just passed here. All of them except Makarska and maybe in Ploče, I think there's a bus station, but the rest of them catching the bus on this route is basically going up to the main road and waiting at the bus shelter on the main road. Oh, it's amazing, all the curves. But it's been so much, such a big job, to make these roads.
What is that for now?
I'm not sure, no idea. But then there's some waters coming out,
Yeah.
so there must be some river running inside the mountain. Definitely. So basically now we are leaving. Now the road is going away, a little bit away from the driving along the coast. We're gonna go a little bit in the country here, so we won't see the water before we are down at, I think, close to Ploče again, and then the road will be back out next to the sea.
The view from here is a nice view.
Ah, the view is still good. Now we're at Basinska Jezero, I think. Lake Basinska. Yeah, this one, this one is quite neat. And there's a few viewpoints where you can stop and take photos of here. Now we're at the bus station in Ploče. I think we're gonna have another small break here before we continue. Well, we were good. We just had an inspector on board checking if anybody was driving without having a ticket. So I just showed him our ticket and everything was fine, and it was also fine with the rest of the passengers. But apparently this is an issue that sometimes people manage to get a ride without having a valid ticket.
So if
And-
you print it, just keep it all times.
Yeah, you need to keep the ticket with you. Of course, if you have an electronic ticket, it's very easy. You have it on your phone. But if you have a ticket you bought at the bus station, you need to keep it on. Or if you bought it from the driver, bought it somewhere on the route, you need to keep it on you. And I think the inspection is done by the bus companies themselves. They want to make sure that they only have passengers which are registered or paid for the trip. So now we are passing Neretva, the Green River, and going into the Neretva Valley Delta, which is a huge area where they mainly grow orange fruits like tangerina, mandarina, clementina, these kind of types, probably also lemon. But I think the main one, as far as I know, is tangerina, and they supply Lots of it, I think, goes to the UK, as far as I know. But it's really, really a huge delta. And when it's the season, you see basically all the orange when you drive here, and there would be a lot of booths or stands along the road here where you can stop and you can buy fresh oranges, mandarina, tangerina, and also other things they grow here in the area, potatoes, onions, whatever, you know, the nature gives in this area. So a lot of people pick up their stuff here, and also the farmers from down here, they have outlets in other cities. I know that, for instance, there's a Split where they sell fruits from down here. So now we're going up the mountain, so now you can get a much better view on the Neretva Valley. And what I basically forgot to mention, after we left Ploče, the part after Ploče and the part we're driving on now, no matter which bus you take between Split and Dubrovnik, as soon as it gets down in this part, it will follow the same road. So you know, there's no difference, because the highway basically stops around Ploče. So that's simply the case. So it would only be the difference by taking this one we are taking today would basically be between Split and Ploče, where we were following the coast road, and the highway buses or the buses driving along the highway would go up in the mountains above Split and then basically take the highway up there. And just look at the water in between everywhere there, you know. Fascinating how they build it, and how you own this piece of land, I own this piece of land, and how it handles. So definitely they must use boats when they are picking up their stuff. Even those everywhere, they have the water running in between. So I mean, irrigation, making sure that there's water enough for the plants, they really fix that part. And now we're coming down to the Pelješac Bridge, which was opened in 2000 and I think 22. So this summer it's going to be 3 years ago, and that one basically connects the mainland with the peninsula Pelješac. And let's see now here, we will get some footage of the bridge. But anyway, before the bridge was here, the issue was, and that was hard to understand for many people, that when you went from Split to Dubrovnik and you followed basically you took a bus or drove by car, you went through another country. You had to go through Bosnia and Herzegovina to get to Dubrovnik. There was a strip, I think it's 12-15 kilometers, which actually is another country. So you went through transit, so it was always a question, you know, paperwork, what papers do I need? I mean, for most Europeans, it was no issue, it's just transit, so they would basically let you through. But, you know, if you came from countries which would have visa requirements to Croatia, what was then the issue, you know, if you're traveling through Bosnia? So lots of back and forth, and lots of people asking about this kind of thing. Today it's way easier. You know, you are staying in Croatia, but all the time, and that's why the bridge is there. Basically, it takes us to Pelješac, and then we drive basically to the peak end of Pelješac, where it connects to the mainland, and then you are back on the coastal road down there, and then basically you circumvent the part which is Bosnia and Herzegovina on the way. So I think now we're coming up to the bridge. Yeah, here's a good place to stop if you want to have a few photos of the bridge. And of course, in connection with making the bridge, they also had to make a completely new road on Pelješac, basically over the half island till it connects down at Storn. So all of this also had to be prepared in connection with doing the bridge. So now we are almost at the end of Pelješac, and so we will basically connect to the mainland again. parts of Dubrovnik out here. I think it's Babin Cook. And now we are basically entering Dubrovnik from the northwest. We have the bridge in front of us, which we will cross in a few seconds, the Franje Tuđman bridge. So we have the bridge here, and here's the bay where basically you have cruise ships, ferries, all the stuff going in. And the old town is not visible from here, it's on the other side of this peak we have over there. So as soon as he crosses the bridge, he's going to turn left. Because of course with the bus here we're going to go down to the bus station, and that's where we're going to get off. But if you come to visit Dubrovnik with a cruise ship, you will be just down here in front on this pier here. We are entering the Dubrovnik bus station. Well, we actually get the first platform. Easy peasy. Dubrovnik, and basically the nice driver already took out our suitcases. So we are basically ready to continue from here. Maybe I will just walk over here. So maybe just to say, you know, I hope you liked the video, got an impression on how it is to travel from Split to Dubrovnik by bus. Once you arrive here in Dubrovnik at the bus station, you are roughly 3.5 kilometers, 3.4 kilometers from the city center. So walking there is of course possible, but in the summer heat, it's maybe not recommendable. You have taxis just over here. You have the main road is out there. The city buses stop just in front. It costs €2.5 to go with the city bus to the center. And of course, you have Uber, Visi, and Bolt. You can order from here, so really easy to get into the center. So basically, from my side, I only have to say I hope you enjoyed the trip, and I hope you're gonna give the video a like, subscribe to our channel so you can see more videos about traveling around in Croatia. So I would just say stay tuned till the next one. Thank you for watching.